A very warm welcome to all of you in the class of recurrence relation and its application. And our topic for today's class is recurrence relation according to the structure of the course. Myself Rupak Bhattacharjee, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, JIS College of Engineering. Before going into the elaborate discussion, we are just having a little brush up of our idea on sequence. Sequence are ordered list of elements. Now look at this. If you can see that we are taking 5 numbers 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. And in the second case it is 1, 3, 9, 27, 81. Don't try to first identify what are the interrelationship between consecutive numbers. First of all, you please try to emphasize that we are giving some dots here and we are not giving any dot. This means we are talking about two types of sequences. One is finite and another one is infinite. That means when you are thinking about the total numbers in a sequence, sometimes you can count and stop and sometimes you can count but not. Now, sequences arise throughout mathematics, computer science and all other related fields, and it may in many disciplines where you can think about any scientific application, you will get always sequencing and sequences over there. Next, we are having some definition of sequence in formal mode. A sequence is a function. Whenever we are talking about a function, it must be from somewhere to somewhere. It is a function from a subset of the integers, usually either the set 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 1, 2, 3, 4. That means you can take sometimes considered 0 or sometimes you may not. In that case, your sequence will be starting from suppose A0, then A1 and so on, and in some cases it will be A1, then A2 and so on. The notation AN is used to denote the image of the integer n. So if I am taking 1, 2, dot dot dot, then n over here, the corresponding element what we are getting here is going to be denoted as A1, then A2. In this similar manner, we will reach up to AN. And each and every element in that part, AN, which is the general notation, is called the term of the sequence. So, if you take the example of 1 by n, if you put A1, it will be 1 by 1, so on. A2, 1 by 2, it will be 1 by 2, and so on. So, if you just change the thing by 1 by n square, then it will be simply the thing will be 1, then 1 by 4, then 1 by 9 and so on. So this is the very basic idea of sequence. Now a very important thing which is going to be discussed and linked with this idea. Please make the concrete fundamentals on this particular discussion. We are taking a simple sequence linked to a triangular dot pattern. So here we are taking one dot. After that, to maintain the triangular pattern, we are taking these two dots so that this triangle shape will be maintained. Then we are making 3 dots, 4 dots, 5 dots and so on. Now if you want to count how many dots are there, you are getting 1 here, you are getting 3 here, you are getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here, you are getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 here, and here also 15. If you proceed in this way, you can construct the structure of the triangles. Now the question is 1, 3, 6, 10, 15, how they are generated. It is not the case that every time you will count and you will tell that total number of dots in this structure. So in order to obtain the next term for this structure, that means the sixth term, one more row of 6 dots will be added, because in every step the number of dots are increasing by 1. So in this pattern, in the next step there will be 7 dots, in the next steps there will be 8 dots, and so on. And this process, how you are generating this, is called recursion. So when we are going to learn about recurrence relation, we must know what is recursion, and this is the concept of recursion. I think it is clear. Now, the same pictorial representation can be described algebraically also. If we take the first term as u1, and if we denote it by actually u1, it is 1. Then we are talking about u2. What u2 denotes? u2 denotes the total number of dots in the second step, and we have already the count, and it is 3, then 6, and so on. Now our target is to find out un. If we can find out the general term of un and putting the value of n in un, we can find out the results as we desire. So how we can write un? You have to add the number n to un minus 1. Please follow this. If you think about u2, it is u1 plus how many numbers you have added? You have added 2. So it is u1 plus 2. If you are talking about u3, then it is u2 plus 3. So if you are talking about un, it will be obviously un minus 1 plus n. Just if you follow this pattern, you can find out this general structure of un. So proceeding further, I am allotting one thought process to you, because these thought processes will build your idea on recurrence relations. The question is, in how many different ways we can add 1 and 2's to get 14. So we can't start by thinking for 14. We have to start our process in a recursive manner. So if we want to generate 1 by 1 and 2's, there is only one process, because I can take only 1. After that, if I want to generate 2, how many ways we can use? I can use 2 1's or I can use 1 2. Then how many ways are there? 2 ways. Now if I want to generate 3, then this is one process, that is summing up 1 3 times. This is one process, that is 1 plus 2, and this is another process, 2 plus 1. So how many processes we are getting? 3 processes. In the same manner, if you proceed your thought, then you will take 4 and you will get the answer is coming as 5. After that, you have to find out some general pattern on this, and if you are satisfied by that pattern and your pattern is verified, then you can go for finding out T14. So let us check it. So we let Tj be the number of ways adding 1 and 2's already discussed. We may have the following relation. There is a question I have placed, that why. Now look at this, Tj, T4, it is the summation of previous 2. Similarly, this 3, it is a summation of these 2. So if you observe this, then you have to start this calculation with some initially provided value. Either it will be initially provided, or you have to identify that what are the values initially you can use for the next steps. So then we can compute T14 because we know what is T1, what is T2. Why two things are required? Because when you are trying to find out Tj, you need two inputs, Tj minus 1 and Tj minus 2. So if you want to find out T3, you need T1 and T2, and when you are going to find out T14, you need T13 and T12, and then you have to add them. Okay, now next step, when we are talking about the next calculation, that is recurrence relations, sequence is done, its generation is done, the concept how we can think about recursion, it is also done. Now we are thinking about what is recurrence relations. So look at the definition. A recurrence relation for the sequence an, so it is has to be clear that recurrence relation is for the sequence an, is an equation that expresses an in terms of one or more, it may be one or it may be more than one of the previous terms of the sequence, namely a0 to an minus 1. If you think about the last slide's discussion, you can recall that T4 is generated by T3 plus T2. It is not the thing important in the definition whether it is 4, 3 or 2 or not. It is important that when you are at fourth stage, you are using third one and second one. You may use only one according to the requirement. You may use two, you may use more than two, but the concept is same, where a0, a1, an minus 1 for all integers n with n greater than equal to n0, and n0 has to be a non-negative integer. Now, what is the solution of that? A sequence is called a solution of a recurrence relation if its terms satisfies the recurrence relation. So what you are getting, you are basically getting recurrence relation and you are getting a sequence in the circular manner. Look at this, you are getting a recurrence relation and you are trying to find out a sequence which will satisfy this. You are getting a sequence, you are trying to find out what recurrence relation will be there which will identify or which will rather indicate this sequence in its solution. So the initial conditions, like in the previous problem, T0, T1 were given or you have calculated. The initial conditions for a sequence specify the terms that precede the first term where the recurrence relation takes effect. Otherwise, you can't continue your step with some finite answer. Now, some examples will be given. Already you are now, I think, equipped with this. Still, a little discussion on this. Now, a and b a sequence that satisfies the recurrence relation, this one. What is this? An is equal to an minus 1 plus 3. For n equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. And this initial condition is given is 0 equal to 2. So if you want to find out a1, is it really tough? If you want to 1, then you have to put 0 over there. So it will be you are trying to find out a1. So you are writing here it is 1. So you have to put n equal to 1 here. So 1 minus 1, that is a0 plus 3. So what is a0? A0 is given as 2. So 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. So you got a1. Now if someone is asking about a2 and a3 and you are thinking about I will calculate a3 first. So a3 is a3 minus 1, that is a2 plus 3. But do you know a2? No. So you have to find out the values sequentially. Otherwise you have to wait for a2 and a2 will be calculated in this intermediate step by using a1. So here initial condition is a0 equal to 2. Similarly, if you take this one, look at this, what is the basic difference? Here an depends on two previous values, an minus 1, n minus 2. And here also look at these two initial conditions are given. So the initial conditions are a0 equal to 3 and a1 equal to 5. So if you want to find out a2, so if you want to find out a2, what will be a2? a2 minus 1, that is 1, minus a2 minus 2, that is 0. So a1 is 5 and a0 is 3. So your answer is 2. Next, as the initial classes actually reveals the concepts, I am also giving another problem. Initially you will feel that it is another problem, but after this class I think some of you or maybe all of you will realize that this is already discussed in this class. It is your job to identify that one. So let us go into the story. I think all of you, those who are having the computer science engineering background, you know the term name Fibonacci. So he is an European mathematician in the Middle Ages. One problem he has posed on rabbits, and it is actually calculated that it is going to be started at the beginning of a year. So what are the conditions? Rabbit pairs are not fertile during their first month of life, but they thereafter give birth to one new, is important, male or female pair at the end of every month. So first month your result is nothing, but so on you can get one new male or female pair. So second condition is that no death occurs during the year. That means during 12 months there is no death. That means there is no decrement of the number of the rabbits. The question is, how many rabbits will there be at the end of the year? So this is a really practical problem. Now how recurrence relation concept will help us to find out or to formulate the problem first and then obviously the solution. So let us take it. So we are taking Tj with the number of rabbit pairs alive at the end of month J. So when the month 0 is there, then T0 is 1 because we have kept one rabbit pair, and also after first month as they are not fertile, you are having T1 is also 1 because the number of rabbits is not increased. Next, the number of rabbit pairs at the end of J is equal to the sum of the number of rabbit pairs at the end of month J minus 1, because every month it is increased. So when you are at the month of J, you will get something more than the month of J minus 1 collection. The number of rabbit pairs born at the end of month J is equal to the number of rabbit pairs at the end of month J minus 2. So look at this. In this way, actually if you are thinking, then the recurrence relation will be given by this one. Tj is equal to Tj minus 1 plus Tj minus 2, and obviously with initial conditions T0 and T1, which is already calculated by us from the linguistic problem of the previous one. So our question is, after 1 year what will be the total number of rabbits, and I am giving is the answer is 233. Now it is your job that how you will reach to T12. Already it is discussed that you have to go like this, and you can do some programs through which you can go like this. You can do this program by any language or in simply an Excel sheet also. So now we are introducing the Fibonacci numbers. The concept came from the last discussion. Look at this. You can also think about this. F0, F1, F2 are defined by, if you take F0 equal to 0 and F1 equal to 1, then the recurrence relation is Fn is equal to Fn minus 1, Fn minus 2. So this is actually the concept. Our target is this, and when you are thinking about your initial two conditions, you are going to push some values over here. These two values will actually generate various sequences depending on the values posted over here. So you are asked to find out F4, F5, F6, F7, F8, and I think you will be able to calculate this one. So I am not going to show it here. The next part, we are trying to find out the formula of nth term of a sequence generated by the recurrence relation, and this is the process which is called the solving of the recurrence relation. These types of formula is called the explicit formula or closed formula. And one technique for finding an explicit formula for the sequence defined by a recurrence relation is backtracking. You will obviously ask that how this term is coming and how this term is linked with the recurrence relation discussion. So obviously we are going to give you some example on this. So let us go into that. We have taken an. It is a sequence satisfying the recurrence relation. Our recurrence relation is this: an is equal to an minus 1 plus 3 for n equal to 2, 3, 4, and obviously there is, look at this, one initial condition is given, this a1 equal to 2. I can calculate a2, a3, a4 and so on, and we will get some values. But our job is to find out the closed form of the solution of this problem. So look at this. An is given as an minus 1 plus 3. We are backtracking. An minus 1 can be written as an minus 2 plus 3, and this plus 3 is here. Then an minus 2 can be written as an minus 3 plus 3. Then there is a 3, there is a 3. So how we get 2 into 3? So simplifying, we can write it this. Simplifying, we can write it this, because there is a 3, there is a 3. It is 2 into 3. Now we are getting there is a 3, and in the previous case there are 2 into 3. So how many 3s we are getting? 3, then 2 into 3, that means 3 into 3. So every step the number of 3s are increasing, and it will go in the next stage, but in the backtracking manner. So in the similar manner, if we proceed, we will get a2 plus n minus 2 into 3. Look at this. When you are from n to n minus 3, there are 3 number of 3s. When you are n to n minus 2, there are 2 number of 3s. So when you are n to a2, how many 3 will be there? N minus 2 3 will be there, because look at this, the stage where you are and the coefficient of 3 what you are getting, if you add them you will get n. This observation, or rather I should say these cross observations, are very important when you are going to solve any problem. Then you will be confident that yes, you are in the right track. So in the similar manner, if we go back one step, we are getting a1 plus n minus 1 into 3, and as a1 is given 2, we can write it 2 here, 2 plus n minus 1 into 3, and finally simplifying this, we will get 3n plus 2 minus 1, that is 3n minus 1. Now some definitions, rather we should say some identification for the latter classes are going on. A linear homogeneous recurrence relation of degree k with constant coefficients is a recurrence relation of the form an is equal to r1 an minus 1 plus r2 an minus 2 and dot dot dot. This is in some cases creates some confusion, because actually we are having the term order, but in some resources we are getting this. If you are comparing it with differential equation, you must keep this term in your mind, that it should be termed as order of k. Now Look at this, R1, R2, Rk are coming. What are they? So they are real numbers and Rk is not equal to 0. Why? Because if Rk is equal to 0, then this thing will be terminated over here and we can't say it will be order of k, then it will be order of k minus 1. So the final coefficient over here has to be not equal to 0. It is linear. Why it is linear? Because the right hand side of the sum of the previous terms of the sequences each multiplied by a function of n, means here you are not getting any term called a1 into a2, or here you are not getting any term a1 square or something like that. And it is homogeneous because no terms occur that are not multiples of aj into s, means you are not getting any term where ai or aj related terms are absent. You are getting simply n or n square or 3 or 3n. You are not getting anything like this. So that is why it is homogeneous. And each coefficient is constant because this is already discussed. So this is linear homogeneous recurrence relations. Now some examples will be discussed. Look at this, constant n minus 1 and n, so order will be 1, and there is no term which is not having pn or pn minus 1 or p1, p2, anything like that, so it will be homogeneous. Next one, it is also same, linear homogeneous recurrence relation, but it is starting from n and it goes up to n minus 2, so here the order will be 2. Next, an is equal to an minus 1, an minus 2 whole square. The problem is this, just because of this it is not a linear recurrence relation. Next one, just because of this it is not homogeneous, it is linear. It is having constant coefficient, but it is not homogeneous. Next one, here we are getting the coefficient is n, that means it is not a constant coefficient. Let us have some practice on that. What will be the recurrence relation of the sequence 3, 6, 12, 24, 40? I know that everyone will be able to say the answer, but let us have the basic discussion on this. 6 comes from 3 into 2, 12 comes from 6 into 2, 24 comes from 12 into 2. So look at this 2 part is same, this 6 is from the previous term, this 12 is from the previous term. So that means what I can write, an is equal to 2 into an minus 1, because the previous term is multiplied by 2, but if I complete it here, it is not complete. Look at this, what is n and what is the restriction on n? N has to be greater than equal to 2. Why? Because if you take 2, then it is a2 is equal to 2 into a1, where a1 is given as 3. Now the whole thing is complete. If you are mentioning this whole thing, then actually your answer is complete. Clear? Okay. Next, we have to classify the following recurrence relations according to the last slide what we have just discussed. This 6 indicates it is non-homogeneous. This is n minus 2, it indicates order 2. And there is no product term of i's, so it is linear. Similarly, here we are getting that it is n plus 1 to n minus 2, the gap is 3, so order is 3, but it is homogeneous. The next one, it is n minus 1, n minus 2, so order will be 2, but it is homogeneous. But here again some 6 is coming, and this 6 creates the non-homogeneous part of this one. Okay, now we have to find the recurrence relation for the following sequences. First one is 1, 3, 7, 15, 31. Please concentrate because we have to deal with these types of problems in the latter cases, and this is actually the learning of recurrence relation formulation. For the first problem, we can write it as a1 is equal to 1, okay, a2 is equal to 3, a3 is equal to 7, and so on. So 1, 3, 7, 15. What is the gap? 2. What is the gap? 4. What is the gap? 8. So you have already identified the gaps. So can you write a2 is equal to a1 plus 2? Then can you write a3 is equal to a2 plus 4? But in place of 4, if you write 2 square, then a4 is equal to a3 plus a1, a2, a3, a4, 15. 15 is coming from 7, that is 8. 8 means we can write is 2 cube. So if I am confident by writing this, then I can write an is equal to an minus 1 plus 2 to the power. If it is 4, it is 3. If it is 3, it is 2. So it will be 2 to the power n minus 1. But this is not sufficient. Along with this, you have to mention what is your a1. Your a1 is 1. Along with this, you have to mention what is the condition on n. As it is starting from a1, that means a1 is not generated. a1 is there with you. It is your information provided. So if you put 1 here, then will be a0, which is not having any existence. And if you put 2 here, then you can go for 1 and something like that. So n is greater than 1, or you can write n is greater than equal to 2, as you wish. Clear? Now I want to give you one more discussion on this problem. I know that maybe some of you have already identified this. Can I write a2 is equal to 2a1 plus 1? Let us check. 2 into 1 plus 1, so it is 3. Okay. So now can I write a3 is equal to 2 into a2 plus 1? Let us check. 3 into 2, 6 plus 1, that is 7. Can I write a4 is equal to 2 into a3 plus 1? So 7 into 2, 14 plus 1, 15. So this is another pattern what I am getting for the same construction. So initially it looks like that, okay, it is a very easy problem and it is also easy, but it will give you a very strong foundation on the formulation of recurrence relations. So look at this. In this way, if you proceed basically, then what you are going to get, an is equal to 2 into an minus 1 plus 1, and the relation obviously has to be mentioned with a1. The value of a1 is 1, and also it is n is greater than 1, because if you put n equal to 2, then you will start it from 1, and 1 is provided, a1 is provided. So this is the way of formulation of a recurrence relation. So if we are starting for the next problem 2, 4, 10, 28 and something like that, then similarly you have to start with a1 equal to 2, then a2 equal to 4. How you have reached from 2 to 4, 4 to 10, 10 to 28? Try to identify the gap. 2, then 6, then 18. So how you can check that gaps are with some pattern. So let us have this 4, and can I write this 4 as 2 plus 2? Then you will ask, sir, in case of a3, which is given as 10, how we will write by using a2, because if I write it is 2 plus 2, I can write it okay as 2 plus a1. But in case of a3, when it is 10, what I will write? So can I write it as a2 plus a2 is 4, so 4 plus 6, so this 6 can be written as 2 into 3. I know that it may not be crystal clear to you until and unless the next term is going to be written. So if I write it a3, a4 is your 28, a3 is 10, so remaining is 18. So what I can write, if I want to write it by the help of 2 and 3, then what relationship we are going to pose here? a3 is your 10, so 10 you need 18. So if you have some power here 2 square, then it is 2 to the power 2, that is 4 plus 3, that is 12. Then 12 plus a3, that is 10. Are you reaching to the target? Or if you are thinking about this, that we are writing it as a3 plus 2 into 3 whole square, then it is 9 into 2, then you are getting it as 18. Then the question is whether you are getting to the target. So in this manner, actually you have to think that what is the process and how this process is going to be adopted for getting the general term of this recurrence relation. And if you are getting it like correctly, then you have to go for a5 and so on. So if it is 10, it is 28, 2, 4, 10, 28. In this manner, actually you have to think and then generate. Don't forget to write the initial value of a, that is a1, and don't forget to put the condition on n. So ultimately we have completed the discussion on recurrence relation and the formulation of recurrence relation with various examples and various thought processes. So I think it is clear to you. If you have any question, feel free to contact me. Happy listening, happy learning.